7 News now at 6 a.m. begins with breaking news out of Turkey. Just this morning, an explosion outside the U.S. Embassy in the capital of Ankara in Turkey. There, police say a suicide bomber detonated a bomb outside the embassy early this morning. Right now, we know of 2 people dead. We'll continue to bring the very latest as it comes in.
This morning, 7 News now with an inside look at the chaos on board this JetBlue flight that had to divert here to Denver after a woman became unruly on board.
And right now, rescue crews searching for trapped victims in an office building. This is after an explosion in Mexico City. This thing killed more than 24 people. And 7 News alert to pass along to you. 3-time term New York City Mayor Ed Koch passed away overnight after being in and out of the hospital. Most recently, the 88-year-old was admitted to the ICU. That happened overnight. He had fluid in his lungs.
At 6 o'clock, 27 degrees here at 7 News. Lisa, we have some warm weather heading into the weekend.
Yeah, we really do. This morning, we've got 20s. We'll see some sunshine through the afternoon. Should be a pretty gorgeous sunrise this morning. Look for 42 degrees by 11 o'clock, and then we climb from there. Upper 40s by 3. We've got a few neighborhoods that will be in the low 50s. The winds still a touch of an issue. You're going to find speeds today at about 15 to 20 miles per hour along the Front Range. Here's what our futurecast shows at 7 o'clock. Still pretty gusty up and through the foothills, and then by the time we get to the lunchtime hour, in the mountains, anywhere from 20 to 40 mile per hour winds, so more blowing snow. Denver, Brighton, and Fort Collins, again, calm at times, but we could see those gusts up to about 20, even 25 miles per hour. It's going to be, again, a pretty warm day, though. Temperatures about 5 degrees above normal. We're calling for 49 in Denver, 50 in Brighton, and Jason, 49 in Fort Collins.
And still seeing a slight delay along the RTD light rail system on the Santa Fe corridor. That from an early morning power outage that we had in the Littleton area. So they're saying maybe a 15-minute delay for just a little bit longer coming up from Mineral, from the downtown Littleton station, Oxford, trying to get to downtown Denver, trying to get down there as well. So that power has been restored, and that delay should be working its way out in just a little bit. Up here in Montbello at about 56th and Memphis, just on the east side of Chambers, a minor accident out there, and the rest of the west side of town looks really nice. Take a look at the high country. The snow is falling, but the only chain laws we have, US 6 over Loveland Pass, and the I-70 is actually looking mostly slushy at this point.
Thank you, Jason. It's 6:02 now. An unruly passenger forces this JetBlue flight to divert here to Denver. 7 News with an inside look here at some of the tense moments in the air. Now, Denver police say they are thoroughly investigating what took place high above the ground. 7 News reporter Tyler Lopez live at DIA this morning. Tyler, everything is okay now, but this disrupts of schedules.
Right, Anna, and it's only one flight. We're going to give you another chance to take a look at that video from inside the cabin, but all of the 137 passengers aboard Flight 185, a JetBlue flight from the East Coast to the West Coast, were impacted. Take a listen. Yes, they're booing. They are not happy. 7 News also with exclusive pictures of the passenger taken by Jacqueline Allen, my colleague. She's seen here with light blonde hair, her back to the camera, and a hooded sweatshirt as she talked with Denver police on Concourse A. The flight was heading from New York to San Diego and landed here at DIA about 7:15 last night. One of the passengers tells 7 News that the woman was mad that someone else had been reseated in a better section but didn't have to pay the upgrade so that he could enjoy better leg room. Another version of that story is a witness saying they believe the man was moved because his TV didn't work. Passengers also telling us, though, the woman appeared to be aggressive with the flight attendant.
She was screaming, "My dad's CIA, you guys don't know, arrest me if you want." She thought she was a hot shot.
Denver police escorted her off of that plane. I just spoke with a spokesperson for the police department just about a half hour ago before the 5:30. He told me they are done with this case. Passengers and JetBlue declined to press charges. They do have discretion. They, too, will not press charges against this woman. Live at DIA, Tyler Lopez, 7 News.
Thank you, Tyler. 6:04. And right now, rescue crews searching for people they believe are still trapped after an office explosion that happened in Mexico. At least 24 people died when that blast rocked the headquarters of a state-run oil company. 101 others injured in an explosion. No word on how many people might be trapped. They're still searching the rubble. One small bright spot here, employees, a lot of them were outside having lunch when the blast happened, and so therefore they escaped the brunt of that explosion. No word on the cause yet of that explosion. And new this morning out of China, 31 people killed after a truck carrying fireworks explodes. And that explosion tossed cars everywhere, killing 26 people. There was an 18-wheeler that flipped over. The blast was so severe. A couple hours later, the bridge the truck had exploded on, that bridge collapsed. That killed 5 people. The truck was carrying fireworks for the Chinese New Year celebration.
Police are searching for an armed robber this morning. A bar employee who was robbed at gunpoint actually spotted the suspect a day later, and she wants to warn others. Jessica Cuevas was bartending Tuesday night at JL Cheers on South Monica when a man walked in, bought a beer, and then she says pulled out a gun and robbed the employees and customers.
He told us to lay down on the ground, and I didn't move until I heard the door.
And then 2 nights later, as she was leaving the Ameristar Casino,
I look over, and it's the guy who was waving the gun around in my bar 2 nights before. But I'm going, no way, can't be him. Can't.
Police still haven't caught the suspect, who is a white man in his 50s, about 6 feet tall and 180 pounds.
This morning, Golden police looking for this man you see in this photograph here. They say he demanded money, threatened the clerk at a U.S. bank location over on Jackson Street earlier this week. Police don't believe he was armed, but if you recognize him, have any information, you're asked to please call police.
A 14-year-old boy accused of raping a 14-year-old girl at school. This is video of the international school at Thornton Middle School. Police tell us the assault happened in a bathroom Wednesday afternoon. They say no one else was inside at the time. The girl then went to the staff for help.
The victim's alleging that she was forcibly pulled into the bathroom and then sexually assaulted by her classmate.
We checked. The school normally has a resource officer on hand, but he was in court at the time this happened.
It's now 6 minutes after 6, and we have some developing news out of Los Angeles today. There's been a 5-year battle over those confidential church records on sex-abusing priests. It's now over. This is the Archdiocese of Los Angeles website. The church fought to keep all this material secret. They later tried to block out all the names you might have seen in these reports. But late Thursday, a judge signed an order to require the Archdiocese to hand over these files unchanged. So when you go on the site, you can click and read the whole thing for yourself, all online. Right now, negotiators continuing to talk through a 4-inch wide ventilation pipe to a man holding a 5-year-old boy hostage. Now for 64 hours this has been going on. It's been 4 days since police say this man pulled the boy off a school bus in Alabama and shot and killed the bus driver. The police chief says the bunker is 4 feet underground. That's why they're using that pipe. It's only about 6 feet by 8 feet. Police say the gunman holds strong anti-government views, and the FBI has reason to believe the shooting of that bus driver was a hate crime.
A Colorado man in critical condition and not expected to for shooting at a Phoenix law office. Mark Hummels is originally from Greeley. He represented Steven Singer, who had filed a lawsuit against the suspected shooter in this case, Douglas Harmon. Singer was also shot and died Wednesday. Now, the suspected shooter, 70-year-old Arthur Harmon, killed himself. The shooting happened in the lobby of the office building after a mediation session. The other victim in all this is hospitalized with an injury to her hand.
Today is Hillary Clinton's last day as the U.S. top diplomat. She's officially saying goodbye. There's going to be a State Department ceremony, if you will. It's going to happen at 12:30 our time. And as she leaves, Clinton is offering a stern warning to her successor, John Kerry, concerning Syria. She's warning about Iran's involvement in that country's civil war and the rising threat that may pose in the region. Clinton calls the ongoing violence, quote, distressing on all fronts. Since it began, the Syrian uprising has claimed more than 60,000 lives and, of course, forced millions of people to flee and leave their homes.
Gosh, an awful situation there. Well, here at home in our country, the president's pick to head the Defense Department getting defensive as he faced tough questions on Capitol Hill during his confirmation hearings. Chuck Hagel was asked about his criticism of the Iraq troop surge in 2007. Here's Senator John McCain.
Were you correct or incorrect when you said that the surge would be the most dangerous foreign policy blunder in this country since Vietnam? Were you correct or incorrect?
Well, I'm not going to give you a yes or no answer on a lot of things.
Show that you refused to answer that question.
GOP senators also accusing Hagel of being too soft on Iran and too tough on Israel. If confirmed, Hagel will be the first Secretary of Defense who fought as an enlisted soldier. Developing this morning at 6:09, Colorado's lieutenant governor reportedly the top choice to take over another open position in the president's cabinet. 7 News reporter Lindsay Sablon is here now with more about Joe Garcia. Lindsay?
Anna, Joe Garcia has served alongside Governor Hickenlooper since 2010. Prior to that, he was mostly in higher education. Now, we have video of Garcia from a rally in December here in Colorado. The lieutenant governor also serves as the executive director for the Department of Higher Education in the state. Before that, he was was the president of Colorado State University in Pueblo. If nominated, this would be an important move for Garcia and the president. So far, critics have said Obama needs to nominate more minorities or women to his cabinet. Garcia would replace fellow Latina who announced her resignation earlier this month. Now, neither the Garcia camp nor the White House have commented on the issue. However, Governor Hickenlooper's office sent a statement saying, quote, this would be a huge gain for the nation.
Thank you, Lindsay. 10 minutes after 6 right now in Egypt. Those protests continue. More rallies, in fact, planned today. There are youth groups that say they plan to gather in Tahrir Square and then march to the presidential palace. They'll do so after their Friday prayers. Since these protests began last week, 60 people have died in these clashes with police. The protests began on what was the second anniversary of the uprising that had knocked President Hosni Mubarak out of power. We're going to check our forecast right now for this Friday.
It's a pretty nice Friday forecast. We have temperatures climbing into the upper 40s today. You're going to find 49 degrees by 3 o'clock. Still a little breezy, mostly sunny and dry here in Denver with, again, a little light mountain snow.
And even though the camera's kind of fuzzy, you can still see some of that heavier traffic building in from that north side of town into downtown. But Highway 36 still looks okay into Boulder.
You're watching 7 News Now, the new #1 early morning news in Denver.